This is Sparta!
Hello everybody and welcome back to World of Tanks. My name is Spartan Elite 43 and tonight we're in Battleaxe and that's going to be a paddling because we've got two matches here that I'm going to show you a little bit of the first one and all of the second one, and it's going to be just absolutely nasty. So here we're on Ruinberg. We're going to slip into this little hole that protects Battleaxe for the most part. If they do shoot at me, they'll probably just hit the turret and bounce. Hello, Chieftain. How you doing? Shout out. Pow! 1795. That was a Paddlin. Now, that's going to be a little bit of a theme today, because almost every single shot I take on these guys is going to be a calculated Paddlin. Like, just straight up. You just ain't going to get much better than that. Artie takes a shot at me. There's 3 Arties on this map, but Artie takes a shot. Now, this match could have been an absolute beast of a match. Unfortunately, like, I get going, and the team just kind of starts getting in my way. You'll see what I mean in a moment. Like, I don't mind when teammates get in the way a little bit, but watch this. Wait for it. Okay, okay. Oh, hi, IS-4. Pow! 1675. Another Paddlin. Just absolutely ruining these guys. And everybody I shoot usually dies on the next hit by somebody else. So you know what that means. We're going to get Confederate medals because of it, right? But, so here's the other part. I want to let you guys know that it's been a really bad weekend. And this is what I'm talking about. People just don't care when they drive around. They get right in the way. Now, I'm going to take a shot at this guy, and I don't recommend it, but that's the only bad shot that I take. Completely missed him. It derped into the ground. It's a very narrow window to hit, but, you know, it does happen. But that being said, the reason this weekend was a bit rough was, or not a bit, it was absolutely horrendous. I got a phone call after getting home from work on Saturday morning saying that my dad had been in an accident. My dad drives a concrete truck. He's been a concrete truck driver for 40 years. And then I got another phone call shortly after saying that not only was it an accident, but it was a rollover accident. And anybody who knows anything about concrete trucks knows that, generally speaking, drivers don't tend to walk away from rollover accidents in a concrete truck. So my dad is very badly injured, and this is all coming, you know, a week, 2 weeks after he was in the hospital for the whole, you know, vomiting blood and all the fun stuff there. So anybody with thoughts and prayers, we could definitely use it. He's got a lot of injuries, so anything you guys can do. Now, we get tagged in a buttocks right there, and I'm like, you know what? I'm done. This IS-7's getting in my way. I'm gonna go over here. Oh, it's an IS-7. Okay, let's exact our revenge on our IS-7 with this IS-7. Now, if you shoot a Death Star in the butt, you should probably be paying attention, because the Death Star is going to turn around and shoot. Pow! 1742. Our third Paddlin of the game, and down he goes on the next shot. So that's 3 people. Yes, we got it. 5,000 damage done. Not bad. I didn't give you the rest of the game because we only got the 3 pins, but now we're going to be on Ghost Town. But yeah, so Dad's got multiple injuries. He's got 5 broken ribs on the left. He's got 2 broken ribs on the right. He had a small tear in his spleen that was bleeding. Luckily yesterday, or not luckily, but fortunately, yesterday the spleen seemed to have stopped bleeding, so that's a good thing. It may not require surgery. He's got several fractures in his spine, one at the base of his neck and a couple down by his lower back and lumbar region. He's complaining of a lot of pain in his left shoulder, which is the shoulder he's had rotator cuff surgery on before, and he seems to think that they have he's torn the rotator cuff again, and because he's lived it before, I would tend to agree with him. But the important thing is, the reason he was in an accident, and this is one thing I want to stress to everybody, he had just left the plant, wasn't even 2 miles from the plant, he was fully loaded, and he was going up a hill slightly, and he was about to make a right-hand turn, so he wasn't even driving very fast. It was like 35 miles an hour, I think, is what he was estimated to be at. But he's fully loaded. Fully loaded concrete mixer, somewhere between 75 and 85,000 pounds, guys. That's a lot of weight. And my dad, like I said, has been driving for 40 years. Okay? So, some knucklehead decided that it was a good morning to drink and drive. And he was driving drunk past my dad on a blind section and hit a car, or a van, a family, head on, right in front of my dad. Okay? I haven't seen the dash cam footage of it yet, but from what I understand, when they hit head on, their vehicles kicked over in front of my dad in the mixer. So, what Dad had to do was avoid hitting them, which meant he had to jerk his truck off the road, and knew he was going to roll it. You don't just jerk a 80,000 pound, mixer off the road. It's not a car. It's going to roll. It's got such a high center of gravity that it doesn't take much to roll it. But needless to say, my dad made the selfless decision to avoid hitting both the vehicles in the accident, and to jerk the truck off the road, fully knowing that what would likely end up happening is that he could potentially die from it. A lot of drivers end up dead because they have to roll their truck to avoid somebody else, and 1390 deleted. And so, and even those that don't end up dead end up very seriously injured, because the way a concrete mixer rolls is the drum is so heavy it ends up hitting first, and it's not. Don't give me a physics lesson. That ain't the way I'm talking. I'm talking about the way it works is when you jerk the truck, the weight of the concrete in the mixer, it bends the frame of the truck so that the drum almost always hits first if you're fully loaded. And so when the drum hits first, well, the frame of a truck is made of steel, and steel has, some spring to it. Oh, side of them, right into the turd. 1557. That was a Paddlin. And so what happens is, as the drum goes over, it builds up this spring tension in the frame of the truck, and that spring tension whips the cab over. Instead of just pulling it over, whips the cab over into the ground and just slams the driver straight into the ground. That's exactly what happens. My dad was pinned inside the concrete truck for 2 hours as they had to cut him out. Now here we pull out in front of this tortoise to help out. We hit him for 1943, but some Artie just absolutely rocked us. And that STI is getting his butt whooped. But we've shot 3 times, we've killed 1 guy, and paddled 2 others. We're doing alright, I think. But yeah, so Dad knew what the consequences could potentially be, and he did it anyway. Why? Because he also knows what the consequences of if he had to drive. Shot out. Ooh, 1461. Another Paddlin. Right on the broadside of that IS-7. Or IS-4. I don't know what it was. It was Russian heavy. But he had no time to react. It was no hesitation. He avoided hitting all of them. And because he avoided hitting all of them have survived. All of them. There were 5 people in the van, and then 1 in the drunk driver's car. Ooh, AMX 30. So, what I'm trying to get to you guys is, please, for the love of God, don't ever drink and drive. It is simply not worth it. So many people are at risk when you do that. So what do we end up with? 6,741 damage. That's what I'm talking about. High caliber. Mastery class 1. Not bad. So, if you like what I'm doing, punch the like button. Leave a comment below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And as always, I will see you in the next video.